Good morning, everyone. I want to thank you all for joining us here today for what is a truly historic update on public safety here in the city of Buffalo. Before I go any further, I want to and I need to acknowledge and thank the leadership team, the administration of the Buffalo Police Department, Buffalo Police Commissioner Alfonso Wright, and Deputy Commissioners Patrick Overdorf and Joseph Fahey. And also need to take a moment, maybe more importantly, to thank the men and women of the Buffalo Police Department who serve this city every day with professionalism, integrity, and purpose, and go out into our community each and every day to ensure that Buffalo is a safer, more welcoming city. When I became mayor in October of 2024, I set a clear vision for the Buffalo Police Department and policing here in the city of Buffalo, one centered on community policing, being present, and crime prevention. Working closely with Commissioner Wright and his leadership team, my administration advanced a range of public safety strategies and initiatives, including the Foot Patrol Integration Unit, which puts officers back on the street and strengthens neighborhood relationships. The response to that program has been overwhelmingly positive. Residents and business owners want to see their officers on the streets, present, engaged in their neighborhoods. I'm incredibly proud of this unit, and again want to thank the members of that unit for the work they've put in over the course of the past year. These efforts, along with our commitment to collaboration among law enforcement, community leaders, violence prevention partners, and residents, has led to historically low crime numbers here in the city of Buffalo. And I just want to share a few of these top-line statistics that illustrate where we are in Buffalo in 2025 and why residents have every reason to feel safer than ever here in the city of Buffalo. In 2025, the city of Buffalo so far has recorded 27 homicides. That's a 29% decrease from last year and a 51% drop in the 5-year average. This historic progress puts the city of Buffalo on pace for its lowest homicide total since modern record keeping began. I want to repeat that. We are on pace for the lowest homicide total since record keeping began in this city. To underscore that, and based on FBI statistics, the homicides in the city of Buffalo are on track to reach their lowest levels since the 1980s. In 2025, the city of Buffalo experienced 73 consecutive days without a reported homicide, from July 18th through September 29th, which is believed to be the longest stretch since recording of these statistics. Additionally, there were no reported homicides during the entire month of August, something that has not occurred in about 40 years. We're also seeing measurable reductions across multiple categories. Motor vehicle thefts are down 26% despite national increases. Property crime overall is down 12% from last year. Robbery down 10%. Burglary down 6%. Violent crimes down 5%. Aggravated assault down 3%. The overall crime index is down 11% from 2024. These results tell a clear story. Public safety improvements are being felt across every part of this city. And the city of Buffalo is returning to, and in some cases exceeding, its safest historical ranges. The person leading this department, who I've been so proud to call a partner in government and in public safety, is Buffalo Police Commissioner Alfonso Wright, and I'd like to welcome him to the podium to say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to thank the mayor and this administration for giving me the honor and the chance to lead this department. I couldn't imagine when I first started that I would have this honor and this great opportunity. And once he entrusted me in leading the city of Buffalo and not leading the city of Buffalo, but entrusted me with the city of Buffalo safety, I had two people in mind, and I was hoping that they would be my partners. I couldn't do this without Deputy Patrick Overdorf and Deputy Joseph Fahey. Every single day, and I mean this, every day that we're working, we're trying to figure out how can we make safety more better for the citizens of the city of Buffalo. They come up with great ideas. We call each other the three-headed monster. These guys I just couldn't be more proud of having them as deputies. I appreciate them. And most of all, you can't talk about this without the men and women in blue. Just being in patrol and some of the criticism, that unfair criticism they face, and they still go out every day and they work hard. We've accomplished bringing the morale up in the department. We often get great ideas from our men and women in blue. But again, Mayor, about the time I've been on, this has been just a remarkable time, and I'm just glad I had a chance to work for Mayor Scanlon. So I thank you, Mayor. I appreciate my deputies, and I definitely appreciate the men and women in blue in the city of Buffalo.
As Commissioner Wright mentioned, this is a tremendous leadership team. When I asked the commissioner to assume the role of police commissioner, the next question was, what do you want to do, a deputy? And his answer was the two men standing to my right, without hesitation. And from that day, the work that these gentlemen have put in on behalf of the residents of the city of Buffalo has, in my opinion, been unmatched. And I can tell you that during my time in government, there are others that are as collaborative, but I would not find a group of men that have been more collaborative. And the efforts that they've put in on behalf of the residents of this city to make sure that this city is as safe as it possibly can, and that needs to be acknowledged, it needs to be commended, and it needs to be celebrated. The other thing we need to celebrate is the pending retirement of Commissioner Wright. Alfonso Wright is retiring from the Buffalo Police Department after more than 37 years of service to the city of Buffalo. Commissioner Wright has served as a police officer, serving as one of the city's first community police officers. He's operated as a lieutenant, as a chief, a deputy commissioner, and ultimately commissioner. This is someone who has risen through the ranks of this department, a Buffalonian through and through, and someone who has, for 37 plus years, gone to work every single day to try and make sure that the city of Buffalo is the safest it can be so that people and their families can thrive throughout this community. And again, I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge, commend, and celebrate the tremendous career of Alfonso Wright and wish him nothing but the best as he moves forward into his next stage of life. And Commissioner, again, I can't tell you how much how appreciative I am of all the time and effort you've put into your career, but in particular, these last 14 months working with you has been an absolute honor for me. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
And again, finally, just want to thank the men and women of the Buffalo Police Department for their continuous efforts day in, day out on behalf of the residents of Buffalo. And with that, I can open it to any questions.
Mr. Wright, were you asked at all by the Ryan administration to stay on in the interim role while they do their national search, or was it pretty clear you were going to retire at the end of the year?
It was pretty clear that I was going to retire at the end of the year. I wanted to work for this mayor, so the end of the year was it for me.
Commissioner, can you pinpoint any specific things you did in these 14 months that you think really helped bring the crime rates down? If you had to pick 2 or 3 things that made a really big difference?
I think definitely the walking unit. That walking unit, that foot patrol unit, under the leadership of Deputy Commissioner Overdorf, going into the neighborhoods and finding out what the citizens want. Where is the crime? There are the eyes and ears. That, to me, that was one of the biggest factors. And also getting opinions of the patrol, the men and women. I think they're often forgotten. They're on the streets, we're not. So I think those 2 factors, I think that played a tremendous role in reducing crime.
Let me follow up on that for a second. You know, the commissioner references the foot patrol unit, and that's a voluntary unit. People weren't assigned to that unit. Those are men and women who volunteered for that unit, and the reason they're doing that is because of the boost in morale throughout the department, and that's directly a result of these 3 gentlemen right here. I think that morale is the highest I've seen in the past year or so during my time in office. And again, that's a direct result of these 3, how they treat their officers, how they respect their officers, how they listen to them, gather feedback from them, and then put that into place in different initiatives throughout the department. So I think that's probably the biggest change.
Mr. Mayor, a few months ago you had a similar press conference for the Broadway Market talking about the foot patrols. How How did that resonate? How did that grow from there? Because you talked, there were some numbers that were pretty impressive back then, and they're even more impressive
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, obviously, that's mid-year. Now that we're closing out the calendar year, we get a better picture of how things have gone for the entire calendar year. And, you know, I'm a resident too. And if I'm on a commercial corridor somewhere and I see a police officer walking, it makes anyone feel more safe, right? And that's, I think, in addition to the foot patrol unit, but again, I have to stress the morale within the department and the men and women, how they feel about their job. It's been a tough handful of years for law enforcement in this city and across this country, and they're criticized for what they do. They do not have easy jobs. They get up every day, go to work, not knowing if they'll see their families when they come home, so they can go out and make sure that the residents of this city feel safe. And for a number of years, they were very criticized. But these gentlemen assuming roles at leadership within the department have changed the way they feel, are helping change the way people feel about our officers. And because of that, you see officers volunteering for things like the foot patrol unit. And as a result, you see people feeling safer, and they feel safer because there is an actual reduction in crime. Perception of safety is great. And that gives everyone a great feeling about wanting to go to the corner store, out to a movie, out to dinner. But when it's actually safer, that's that much better.
Any issues with some of the I know crime is down, but there's been some high visibility ones with the Chippewa shooting, the Canal Side shooting. Do those skew the numbers for the public who should have that sense of ease based on statistics you have, but there's crime happening in more popular districts of the city?
Yeah, I think more than that, and someone from the department can jump in if they want. The vast majority of the incidents you're talking about are targeted in nature, right? And so it's not random crime taking place throughout the city of Buffalo, right? So you don't have to think that you're walking down the street, this randomly might happen to you. Those are targeted incidents. So actually, if you ask me, it actually helps the numbers, that they're actually targeted incidents and not just random crime.
Are most your homicides in the city of Buffalo targeted? I mean, we don't hear much of just random killings in the city, even before your...
You can have your domestics and things like that, right, that aren't targeted. You know, they happen in real time, and they're not planned out, or a robbery that might go wrong on the streets turns into a homicide or something like that. The fact that all these different categories of crime, those numbers have dropped, obviously, again, gives a great perception of safety, but it is actually safer out on the streets of the city.
But there have been some crimes, homicides that hit very close to home. I'm thinking of Linwood Avenue fire where Noah and his mother were killed. And probably one of the most horrific crimes that the city has seen.
Yeah, obviously a horrific incident with Katie Carrig and Noah Carrig, and as I mentioned at the press conference, a family that's very close to mine. Obviously a horrific event, and but something that took place inside that home. And again, when we're talking about some of the other crime, in particular the randomness of it, I think it should be celebrated that those numbers are down.
Aside from the larger crimes, like homicide, what about the smaller crimes, you know, the personal property things? Are those numbers down as well?
Yeah, if you look at, again, automobile thefts, larceny, robbery, all of those are all down significantly from last year, despite some of those categories increasing nationwide. So again, I think the presence of our officers out in the street being visible is a deterrent. And I think it's working, and I hope that moving forward, they continue to utilize tools like that here in the city of Buffalo.
That's my next question.
One more.
If you were going to make that recommendation to the new administration to keep the foot patrols, and obviously you have some institutional knowledge with Deputy Oberdorf.
Yeah, I wouldn't just keep it, I would enhance it. Yeah, I would bolster the program and make sure that we have officers out in every corner of the city walking around. Again, if you look at the responses we had, more than 3,000 responses, which to some people might not seem like a lot in a city that has this many people, but I can tell you if you send a survey out about something else, you're not getting 3,000 responses. So it's a tremendous response rate, if you ask me, and the overwhelming response is that people were thrilled with the unit. They love seeing officers out, they feel safer, they love being engaged with, whether it's a resident, a business owner, other stakeholders. They love seeing our officers out and engaging with them. Thank you, everyone.